You'll never procrastinate ever again after watching this video. Look, you don't procrastinate because you're lazy, that's not it. You procrastinate because your brain is protecting you from discomfort. Once you understand why you do it, you will never fall into it again. And by the end of this video, you'll have my proven system that kills procrastination permanently. If it's the first time we meet, my name is Fred, and I've used these productivity tricks I'm going to share with you to make thousands of dollars a day in profit with my online business. I've sold digital products, and it's allowed me to only work a few hours a day while traveling the world. You see, a lot of people think they procrastinate because they don't have the right method. Like, they think they need to try time blocking or the Pomodoro technique, when in reality, the reason they procrastinate is psychological and emotional. You avoid tasks that create discomfort, uncertainty, or fear of failure. Your brain trades short-term relief, such as scrolling on social media, binge-watching Netflix series while you eat your favorite snacks, for long-term pain. Because let's face it, it's easier. It's not that you can't do the tasks, it's that you don't want to feel the emotions that come with doing them. Think about it. When you need to make a sales call, but you scroll social media instead, it's not because you don't have the time. It's because the sales call makes you feel nervous, vulnerable, and scared of rejection, and you'd rather avoid these feelings. When you need to work on your business, but you watch Netflix instead, it's not because you're lazy necessarily. It's because working on your business brings up feelings of uncertainty, overwhelm, even imposter syndrome. You fear failure, so you don't do anything. But ironically, by not doing anything, you guarantee you will fail. That's why we have to be very, very careful. Because if we always listen to our brain and our emotions, we'll end up never reaching our goals. Once you see that procrastination is just your brain trying to avoid uncomfortable emotions, you take your power back, because now you know the game. Now you can make a conscious choice, whereas before you couldn't. Do I want short-term comfort and long-term pain? Or the opposite, short-term discomfort and long-term freedom? There's a quote I love. It goes, easy choices, hard life, hard choices, easy life. What you have to understand is that regardless of what you choose to do, you will always feel pain. Being broke is painful because you never do any of the things you want. You can't afford anything. But doing the boring work you need to do to get rich, making the necessary sacrifices, is also painful because you always have this voice in the back of your head telling you, what if it doesn't work? What if I'm just wasting my time and my money? Either way you feel pain. You can only choose which type of pain you're ready to feel and accept. I don't know about you, but I'd rather suffer the pain of working hard to get rich than the pain of being broke and staying broke. The first step to curing procrastination is awareness. Notice what you procrastinate on and why. Ask yourself, what emotion am I avoiding right now? Is it fear? Is it boredom? Is it overwhelm? The goal isn't to eliminate discomfort, because let's face it, you can't just press a button and switch emotions. That'd be too easy. The goal is to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And the moment you label the emotion, procrastination loses its grip. Instead of being controlled by this vague resistance, you see it for what it is, just a feeling. And feelings pass. They don't have control over you. They only do when you let them. Most people make the mistake of reinforcing their procrastination by how they talk about themselves. Every time you say, I'm just lazy, or I procrastinate too much, I'm a procrastinator, or you beat yourself up for procrastination, you reinforce that identity. Stop doing that. Shift to, I'm someone who sometimes delays, but I take action fast. Sometimes I have bad days like everyone, but I am disciplined. Identity drives behavior. You want to act like a decisive, disciplined person even before you feel like one. The more you act that way, the faster your identity changes. If you kill procrastination, you'll make more money. It's plain and simple. Because doing your best work efficiently instead of rushing at the deadline means you can take on more opportunities, produce higher quality work, charge higher rates, and build a reputation that opens doors other people didn't even know existed. If you want to discover how I've made thousands of dollars a day online, I've made a free training that will show you everything step by step. The link will be in the description. And for a limited time, you can also apply to book a free call with me or a member of my team. On that call, we'll see what's blocking you from making more money, and we'll give you a custom step-by-step plan so you can start your business today, even with $0 in startup capital, and get your first customers as quickly as possible. The link is in the description, but be quick because we have very limited spots and they fill up fast. Now, let me give you a tactical weapon against procrastination, the 2-minute rule. The hardest part is starting, not finishing. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. Don't negotiate with yourself. If it's a big task, commit to doing it for just 2 minutes. Tell yourself, I will just work on this for 2 minutes and then I can stop. That's how you trick your brain into continuing. Because here's what happens. Once you start, momentum takes over. You enter what we call a state of flow. Action is the antidote to procrastination. You will find that after 2 minutes, you actually want to keep going, but even if you don't, you still need 2 minutes, which is infinitely better than 0. Motion creates motivation, not the other way around. Most people wait to feel motivated before they take action. Winners take action first and then the motivation follows. Can you see the difference? Look, the truth is that your environment is so much stronger than your willpower. If your phone is next to you with TikTok and Instagram notifications going off constantly, you're going to get distracted. It's not a willpower issue, it's a setup issue. The easiest way to make yourself more productive is to remove instant dopamine traps. Close all social media tabs, turn off your phone notifications, all of it. Replace distractions with friction. You want to move your phone to another room when you need to focus and do work. Block dopamine draining apps during work hours. When I was struggling with procrastination, I used apps that literally locked me out of social media for certain periods. Now, I'm only using apps and Chrome extensions that block my social media feed since I don't need to access social media for my work. Something else you can do is also create a dedicated work setup. Your brain will associate that space with action. So when you sit down at your desk, your brain knows it's time to work, not scroll on your phone. For example, when I'm going to write YouTube scripts, I sit down at my desk, I wear some noise-cancelling headphones, and I listen to a very specific playlist of binaural beats. That way, automatically it tells my brain, we are going to write YouTube video scripts. And then it's so much easier to get in a state of flow and to do the actual work I need to do. An environment full of distractions isn't the only reason people procrastinate. Some people procrastinate because they're confused about what to do next. So you're not really procrastinating. You're just unclear on the next step. You want to break your big goals into simple, actionable steps because big goals feel impossible until you chunk them down. For example, if you needed to lose 50 pounds, that's overwhelming, right? But committing to lose 2 pounds a week for 6 months, it's just a small daily decision you have to make 180 times in a row. It's easier than losing 50 pounds in one go. Just like making $1 million sounds impossible until you break it down. That's just 2,000 sales at $500. When you look at your to-do list and it says grow my business, it's not actionable. That's actually overwhelming. But when it says send 100 outreach DMs to potential clients, well, that's clear. You know exactly what to do. And when you know exactly what to do, you're way more likely to do it. If you want to discover how I've made thousands of dollars a day online, I've made a free training that will show you everything step by step. The link will be in the description. And for a limited time, you can also apply to book a free call with me or a member of my team. On that call, we'll see what's blocking you from making more money, and we'll give you a custom step-by-step plan so you can start your business today, even with $0 in startup capital, and get your first customers as quickly as possible. The link is in the description, but be quick because we have very limited spots and they fill up fast. Here's a powerful technique you can use to cure procrastination once and for all, the pain rewire technique. You want to link pain to procrastination and pleasure to progress. So ask yourself, what's the real cost of me putting this off? It's missed opportunities, regret, loss of time, trust with yourself, and momentum. Really feel that pain in your chest. Where will you be in a year from now if you keep procrastinating? You will be in the same place, probably in a worse spot actually, still broke and still frustrated. And then you want to flip it. What's the reward if I start right now? Freedom, momentum, pride, money, accomplishment, better relationships, a better body? Where will you be in a year from now if you take action today? Making $10,000 a month, traveling the world, living life on your terms, being fit and healthy, with better relationships? Your brain follows the strongest emotional link. Most people have it backwards. They link pleasure and comfort to procrastination and pain to action, hard work. That's why you have to rewire your brain intentionally, because unless you make that conscious choice, you'll keep following the path of least resistance, which is often to procrastinate and do nothing. Every time you take action, celebrate it. You want to track your wins. You don't want to aim for perfection because you can't be perfect. And you don't need to be. That's the good news. Small wins compound into massive results and identity changes. You will start to crave doing these actions, the hard work, instead of avoiding it. When you finish that task you were avoiding, acknowledge it. Give yourself credit for it. You're allowed to feel good about yourself, you know? Your brain needs positive reinforcement to build new patterns. For example, I used to absolutely hate working out. I would drag myself to the basement because I couldn't go to the gym, couldn't afford it. I felt miserable the entire time and I'd want to quit after 2 weeks. Then I started celebrating the small stuff, like showing up, adding 5 pounds to the bar when I could actually go to the gym, doing one extra rep, and within a few months something changed. I wasn't forcing myself anymore. I was genuinely excited to lift weights. And I'm the guy who gets restless, even depressed if I miss a workout. That's the power of positive reinforcement. Your brain will start associating action with reward. And suddenly, discipline doesn't feel like discipline anymore. It feels like who you are. There's a lesson I really want to share with you, and I feel very vulnerable sharing that kind of stuff with you because I used to be the kind of person who would just beat myself up all the time. Even when I did a lot, like for example, I'd wake up at 5 a.m., I'd crush a workout, like a 5 kilometer, even a 7 kilometer run, then I'd go and work on my business pretty much all day. I would still beat myself up. Why? Because I wasn't rich yet. Well, I can tell you for a fact, and I know this from experience, you won't win by bullying yourself. You won't be more successful by beating yourself up. If anything, it's going to do the opposite. You'll feel like shit. Guilt keeps you in the procrastination loop. Self-compassion breaks it. Because if you hate yourself, you're not going to want to work hard to improve your life because you'll think you don't deserve it. When you mess up, when you procrastinate for a day, when you skip a workout, what matters isn't that specifically, it's your response. Instead of thinking, I'm such a failure, I can't do anything right, tell yourself, well, I messed up, okay, I'm back on track now, that's it. That mindset will keep you moving. The goal is not to never sleep. Because let's be honest, that's not very realistic. We're only human after all. The goal is to recover instantly. Most people sleep once, and then they give up for a week because they feel guilty. But if you can sleep and get back on track immediately, you maintain momentum even through imperfection. And guess what? No one is perfect. Eating a pizza isn't the problem. The problem is when eating a pizza turns into only eating junk food for weeks, even for months, until you feel so guilty that eventually you get back to working out and healthy eating. It's a slippery slope. Look, here's what you need to understand. Procrastination is simply your brain trying to protect you from discomfort. You want to change your identity from that of a procrastinator to an action taker. Then you can control your environment so action is easy and distraction is hard. For example, when I'm struggling to focus, I literally put my phone on gray mode, like the screen, so basically everything turns gray, so notifications lose their appeal, you don't see the red dot anymore. I put my phone on airplane mode and I put it in a drawer. That's it. If it's out of sight, it's often out of mind. Then you want to link pain to inaction and pleasure to progress. And don't forget to be compassionate with yourself when you do sleep, which is going to happen. You don't need more motivation. What you need is more momentum. And momentum comes from taking action, even and especially when you don't feel like it. Even and especially when it's uncomfortable. Even and especially when you're scared. That's how you build the life you actually want, instead of the life that just happens to you by default. Because the life that happens to you by default, it is shit, let's face it. And once you're able to get rid of all this procrastination, now you can focus on making a fuck ton of money. Because if you make more money, every aspect of your life will be better. If you want to discover how I've made thousands of dollars a day online, I've made a free training that will show you everything step by step. The link will be in the description. And for a limited time, you can also apply to book a free call with me or a member of my team. On that call, we'll see what's blocking you from making more money, and we'll give you a custom step-by-step plan so you can start your business today, even with $0 in startup capital, and get your first customers as quickly as possible. The link is in the description, but be quick because we have very limited spots and they fill up fast.